Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and we love helping the well-dressed take care of their wardrobes. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create a mirror shine using the Saphir Médaille d'Or Mirror Gloss Shoe Polish. This is the third installment in our series on how to create and maintain a proper high gloss mirror shine. If you have any questions or comments during this video, please feel free to ask them in the comments section below. I enjoy getting back to all those questions and comments personally. Now, the mirror shine is easily the most elegant representation of a shoe shine and a subtle calling card for someone who's well dressed. There's no question that a mirror shine is difficult to create and takes a lot of time, but the results are worth it. A proper, highly shined toe will easily set you apart from anyone else that's in the room with you. Now, the process of the mirror shine certainly takes long, but is easy to master by following the steps that we're going to outline in this tutorial. With a little bit of practice, you can be producing mirror shines on your shoes. Now, a little bit of an overview of the mirror shine. Now, a mirror shine is whenever you produce a really high gloss shine on your shoes. Traditionally, you only want to do this on the hard countered area of the shoes. Those are the areas that aren't going to flex, like the toe box and the hind quarters of your shoe. The reason you don't want to create a mirror shine anywhere else on the shoe is the moment that the leather flexes, those hard waxes are going to immediately crack. Now, the way that the mirror shine works is that you're filling in all the pores of the leather with hard waxes. Until you have all of the pores of the shoes properly filled in with waxes, you're not going to be able to produce a mirror shine. That's why whenever you're starting from scratch with the beautiful open grain leather, you can actually see the pores of the leather itself. It takes more time to fill in those pores the first time around. For tips and tricks on how to maintain a proper mirror shine, see our video on how to maintain a mirror shine. So the process that I'm going to use in this video is, first I'm going to polish the toes using the Saphir Médaille d'Or Pommadier cream polish. Now, this is important because it's just going to condition the leather and provide that base coat of some soft waxes in the pores. Then I'm going to use the Saphir Mirror Gloss to really fill in those pores and create the foundation of that high shine. Then, as I continue to build the foundation of the mirror shine, I'm going to transition to buffing using the Saphir Pate Luxe. I find that the Saphir Pate Luxe and the Mirror Gloss work absolutely fantastically together, because once you've created that foundation of hard waxes with the Mirror Gloss, the higher concentration of solvents and the Pate Luxe help really glaçage the waxes in the Mirror Gloss to produce that high shine. I always finish off using the Saphir Pate Luxe, and it's what you're going to want to use to maintain a Mirror Gloss. You'll see that I have our high shine water dispenser here. Now, you don't need a high shine water dispenser. You can just simply pour some water in the tin, but I find that this is a nice accoutrement that just makes this mirror shine all that much more fun. And of course, I'm using our Hanger Project High Shine Chamois, which is an absolute essential. This is essentially just a high quality cotton shirting, the same quality cotton shirting as in my dress shirt. And it's important because the tight weave prevents any type of linting and just makes that mirror shine so much easier to produce. So in step one, I'm going to apply cream polish to the caps of these shoes. The purpose of applying the cream polish is just to condition the leather. Again, because you're applying such a high concentration of hard waxes on top of the leather, once you do that, you're not going to be able to condition the leather through any type of polishing. So I always like to just give a little bit of treatment to the leather, feed it using the Saphir Pommadier cream polish, which does an incredible job conditioning and nourishing the leather. So I'm going to apply a generous portion and really make sure that I'm massaging this into the leather, because again, I want to make sure that this leather is properly hydrated just to ensure that it lasts for a long time without ever cracking. So I'm going to set this shoe aside and allow the cream polish to dry while I apply it on the second shoe. One of the things that I didn't mention is that I prepared these shoes in the How to Remove a Mirror Gloss video by using the Saphir Reno Mat to strip off any type of waxes or polish that was on top of the leather. It's always a good practice at the beginning of the mirror shine process to just remove everything to make sure that there's nothing left on the leather that's going to prevent it from really producing a nice high shine gloss. So now that the cream polish has had time to dry, I'm just going to buff it off using a horsehair brush. As you can see, just with a little bit of the Saphir Medaille d'Or Pommadier cream polish, it's already got a nice shine, but what we're going for in this video is a beautiful mirror shine. So we've just finished preparing the toe cap of the shoes using the Saphir Pommadier cream polish. In step 2, we're going to build the foundation of the mirror shine using the Saphir Medaille d'Or mirror glass polish. We developed this product with Saphir in order to make the mirror shine process fast and easy. And it's an incredible product that really makes the mirror shine so much more accessible. It has a high concentration of the hard waxes that produce that shine and a lower concentration of the solvents that can make the process take a lot longer to create. Now you want to apply this using a high shine chamois, and I've got a new one here, but you can use these things as much as you'd like. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to apply a very generous application of the mirror gloss to the toe. And again, what we're doing is we want to completely saturate the pores that create the uneven surface on the cap of the toe so that we can shine it. So be very generous, especially with your first application. It's a hard wax and has a completely different feel and texture than the Saphir Pate Deluxe. So if you're using this for the first time, it might take a little getting used to. But I'm going to apply this to the cap of the toe using small circular motions. And again, I'm building that foundation. So I'm going to actually apply 2 or 3 coats of this all at the same time, just to ensure that I'm getting as much of this into the leather as possible. We'll come back afterwards and buff it off with a little bit of water to begin to build those layers. But the first one, you can be quite liberal. Now in a proper cap toe, it's easy to see kind of where you would stop applying the mirror shine. But say that you were doing this on a whole cut, you would want to look to see where the natural creasing across the vamp is and make sure that you're only applying the mirror shine in front of that on the area of the cap that you don't have to worry about creasing. If you do this across any of the area of the shoe that flexes or creases, you'll have a beautiful mirror shine, and then the moment you wear the shoe, it's going to crack and look ruined. Another nice benefit of the mirror gloss, especially relative to the Pate Deluxe, is that it dries so much faster because, again, it has a much lower concentration of those solvents. Now that the mirror gloss is dried, I'm going to clean this area of the chamois. I'm using my shoe shine carpet, but you could just as easily use a towel or use a different part of the chamois. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of water and begin buffing this off. Right, so this takes a while. So I'm gonna just buff it with a little bit of water, light to medium pressure, and small circular motions. Now at this point, what we wanna do is we wanna buff the waxes in the mirror shine to a nice polish. Now at this point, I really like to pull out a little bit of Pate Deluxe polish. I'm just using a little bit here, and again, the purpose is just to get some of those solvents on the chamois. It acts much like the water in terms of kind of melting those waxes, and it just helps polish some of the thicker areas of the polish to a shine. So I'm using, again, water, my high shine chamois, and there's no way to make this go any faster than it's happening. You want to do brisk circular motions. Again, part of what you want to be adding here is heat. The heat helps bring those waxes to a nice shine. And you're just going to continue to do this until you begin seeing a shine develop. Again, I'm just tapping this right here, little bit of water to bring those waxes to a shine. Okay, so you can begin to see the high shine starting to develop, and it's really important at this point to look to see where you can still see pores of the leather. So right here I can still see the pores of the leather, but then as I rotate the shoe right here, you can see that it's beginning to gloss better because those pores have been filled. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the mirror gloss again and continue to build successive layers up until all those pores are filled. So I'm going to take the chamois back to the original area that I was applying the hot mirror gloss with. And I'm going to do another generous coat of the mirror gloss. Again, the goal is to fill those pores up with the hard waxes in the Saphir mirror gloss. Again, it's always surprising to me how quickly the mirror gloss dries. It's a totally different product than the Pate Deluxe, and you might even be able to see it here in the camera. I mean, there's still a little bit of a shine to the Pate Deluxe because of the solvents, but whenever you look at the mirror gloss, I mean, it is a dry polish. Okay, so again, this dries pretty quickly. We're on our second coat. I'm gonna take some water onto my chamois, and we're just gonna buff that layer of the mirror gloss to a shine. A little bit of Pate Deluxe, a little bit of water. Okay, so we can see this mirror shine really starting to develop. This is just with 2 coats of the Saphir mirror gloss. I'm starting to see the pores right here filled out more, but we still have some pore structure, which is preventing, again, that really high gloss mirror finish. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the other side of the chamois, and we're gonna apply another coat of the Saphir mirror gloss. Nice, generous coat. And then we're gonna massage this into the leather using medium to firm pressure. Once you feel that the mirror gloss is starting to dry out, it begins to feel like a little dry or sandy, then you wanna reapply, because what you don't wanna be doing is dragging your chamois across the wax polish and having it be really dry, because then at that point, you actually can damage the other layers of the mirror gloss that you've created. So that's why whenever you're buffing, you're always using a little bit of water and a little bit of the Pate Deluxe, because it helps lubricate the chamois. Think of it as like wet sanding. It provides that lubrication to really allow you to buff that mirror gloss to a high shine. Another way that you can apply water on the chamois is just using a simple spray bottle. We've got one we sell here at the Hanger Project. But you know, any spray bottle will work. There's really nothing special about it. So here I've got a little bit more water on my chamois, and I'm just going to begin buffing this third coat of the mirror gloss to a shine. And again, you want to create friction with your chamois. So you'll see I'm doing it quite briskly. You want to create friction. You want heat, because the heat, again, is going to help really melt those waxes and allow them to go to a high shine. Again, look at that. It's really starting to develop. So a little bit of mirror gloss. I'm gonna clean my chamois one more time. The purpose here of just kind of cleaning the chamois is, again, you don't want any residual waxes on the chamois, just because you don't want that in any way disrupting the smooth finish of the mirror gloss. Now this is coat 3 of the mirror gloss, and you can see that high shine is really starting to develop. Now I still can see some pores right here, so we're gonna apply another coat of the mirror gloss. Now at this point I'm starting to get a little bit more careful. As soon as I feel the chamois begin to drag, I'm gonna pull it off and put fresh polish on the chamois, because again, what I don't want is the chamois and the dry wax polish to really drag across the surface of the leather, because at that point, again, you can actually damage the wax and pull it off. So this is coat 4. Mirror gloss dries almost instantaneously. I'm gonna take a little bit of water and then begin buffing this to a nice high shine. A little bit of Pate Deluxe. A little bit of water, a little bit of Pate Deluxe, a little bit of water. Now, as you get closer to the end of the shine, you want to make sure that your chamois is clean. Little bit of water, and at this point you're just buffing. I mean, my chamois is really gliding quite easily across the toe of the shoe. You don't want the chamois dragging. I'm just applying a little bit of the Pate Deluxe Again, the waxes, you can allow these to dry a little bit. Wow. I mean, you can really see this coming out. Look at that. Absolutely incredible. This is just with 4 coats of the mirror gloss. I mean, I've done this in 20 minutes. Using just the Pate de Luxe alone, this easily would have taken an hour. I mean, just the time that you wait for the Pate de Luxe to dry alone, adds 30 minutes, if not longer. So at this final stage, I mean, this is where I really caution you. You can get lost in the mirage of the mirror shine. I always recommend that once you get it to a point that looks good, to always stop, take a step back, put the shoes on the floor to really evaluate whether or not the shine is where you want it, because otherwise it can be hypnotizing. I mean, you can find yourself, getting lost in time trying to achieve the elusive, perfect mirror shine. There isn't one, but boy, can you get detoured trying to find it. Making sure that my chamois is clean. A little bit of water. Towards the end of this, I'm using a lighter and lighter pressure because, again, I just want this chamois to glide over the top of those waxes and to just buff them to a nice high shine. Voila, I'm in. Isn't that incredible? I mean, this is an absolutely beautiful mirror shine. I mean, look at the shine there. I mean, I know that I've achieved the proper mirror shine when I can look into the shoe and see myself. I mean, the reflection here is unbelievable. This was with 4 coats of the mirror shine. I mean, it's unprecedented how much more quickly you can produce a mirror shine using the Saphir mirror gloss than the Pate de Luxe or any other standard polishes. As you can see, I forgot about the shoe on the right, so I'm gonna set the left shoe aside and I'm gonna work on the right shoe and bring up the shine here to match this. Okay, so here we are. I went ahead and did the same process on this right shoe, 4 coats of the mirror gloss. Maybe I did 5, it can vary from shoe to shoe, but you can see that the caps of these shoes are on fire. I mean, they are beautiful. This mirror shine is probably one of the best I think I've ever done. And it was all done just using the mirror gloss, a little bit of Pate de Luxe, water, and the high shine chamois. It took no more than 30 minutes. So to just summarize, the process was to prepare the leather using the Saphir Reno mat. We didn't do this in this video because these shoes were already prepared. You can see that process in our how to remove a mirror shine video. Then I conditioned the leather and the caps using the Saphir Pommadier cream polish. And then what we did is we did generous layers of the mirror gloss that we buffed, applied the mirror gloss, buffed, until we reached this high shine. Now in the beginning, you're using a more generous amount of polish, water, the Pate de Luxe to help buff that. And then as you progress, you do finer and finer layers, a little bit lighter pressure, less water, a little bit less Pate de Luxe, and here you are, a beautiful mirror shine. Now, if you have any questions or comments about anything that I discussed in this process, please ask them in the comments section below. I enjoy getting back to all those questions personally. And I understand that it takes a little bit of time to learn how to do a mirror shine, and I want to support you as much as I can so that you can produce these results as easily as I did. All the products that I used in this video can be found on hangerproject.com, and we actually sell a mirror shine kit that includes everything that you need to get started producing beautiful mirror shines. Now, if there's anything you think you missed or need to see again, feel free to go back, watch this video again, play this video while you're shining your own pair of shoes, and of course, ask questions if you have any. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on your notifications by clicking the bell to the right of the subscribe button so that you can know whenever we release new videos. And of course, please visit hangerproject.com, where we have the largest, most comprehensive collection of luxury garment care and shoe care accessories in the world, as well as other products for the well-dressed. And of course, everything that we discussed in this video can be found on hangerproject.com. And while you're there, subscribe to our newsletter to receive notifications of new product launches, promotions, as well as a weekly digest of all the videos that we publish here on our YouTube channel. I'm Kirby Allison, and we love to help the well-dressed take care of their wardrobes. Thanks for joining us.